And when we think about jazz, we know how creative it is upon each musician to be able to add something to the fold. One of the greatest democratic art forms on the planet. That's what I really say.
Right.
So if you're looking for greatness, that's the first thing I like to point out. This democracy among the musicians to take turns, encourage each other to do their best when they take a solo. Plus the fact we all as musicians study the same theory. So why isn't by now an opportunity for the classical musicians to play creatively?
Right. And there's talk about that maybe back in the day some of the classical musicians were able to improvise a little bit perhaps, but never to the extent of what we have in jazz, and never conversations among multiple people.
Right.
If there's any improvisation, it's usually the lead person, right?
Right.
Or whoever
or somebody dressing up a cadenza or something like that, but it's not as extensive as it is in jazz. And in fact, I had a debate with a colleague, and because I'm used to making that statement boldly that jazz is the greatest music on the planet.
Mm-hmm.
And I've had trouble out of some of my colleagues. They were like, what? Greater than this, greater than that. I said, please understand me. Read my lips if you have to. It's the greatest music in the world. Because it's incumbent upon each musician to understand theory and harmony well enough to know how to be melodic as they play. Now that doesn't hold true for every jazz musician, because after a while we get influenced by all kinds of things. In fact, jazz is I'm almost looking for another word, because jazz has come to mean anybody that might take a solo. Well, they take solos in folk music.
Right. Rock music, blues music.
Right. So that doesn't mean it's jazz.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
Because at that point you'd be void of dealing with some of the concepts of the language, you know. And jazz is more organized than I think most classical musicians even know. You know, there's certain connecting devices that musicians use all the time.